When we think about horror movies, we usually think of movies such as Dracula
I am Dracula.
and Nightmare on Elm Street or Carrie, but maybe you should consider the hit movie Oppenheimer. Yes, you heard me right. What if I told you that Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer is, at its core, a horror movie? Not just a historical drama, but a film that taps into our deepest fears and existential dread. Let's dive into why Oppenheimer is one of the most terrifying films of our time. Welcome back to Picture and Pixel Reviews. Today we are exploring the horror elements in Oppenheimer and why this film might just be Nolan's scariest work yet. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand very well that this movie is an epic biographical thriller drama, but I can't ignore the darker side of it. Legendary director Christopher Nolan is a master at creating mind-bending, visually spectacular films, but he is no stranger to horror. You may be surprised by this, but how could we miss it when he gave us the dark, complex, and terrifying agent of chaos in The Dark Knight? Ledger's Joker is characterized by his disfigured clown-like appearance with smeared makeup covering facial scars of a Glasgow smile. Jack Nicholson's Joker, on the other hand, is heavily inspired by the classic comic book version. His portrayal is flamboyant, theatrical, and larger than life, whereas Nolan's version of the Joker is grounded in a more realistic and gritty world. Ledger's Joker is less about flamboyance and more about raw, unhinged menace.
Can you look at me? Look at me!
We can clearly see the influence of the horror genre in Nolan's earlier movies, but he brings this forth in a more grounded way, exploring themes of guilt, fear, and morality. This can be intellectually stimulating and provide insight into the human condition. Oppenheimer is no different. We cannot watch it without thinking about the horrible consequences of unbridled power left in the hands of morally depraved humans. There are classic elements of horror that Nolan incorporates into Oppenheimer. From the haunting visions of nuclear devastation to the psychological torment of its protagonist, this film is steeped in the language of horror. Oppenheimer's visions of destruction are reminiscent of the apocalyptic imagery found in horror classics. These scenes are designed to unsettle and disturb, much like the best horror films. Then there's a psychological horror. Oppenheimer's guilt and the weight of his creation's consequences are portrayed in a way that mirrors the internal struggle of characters in psychological horror films. Nolan dives deep into Oppenheimer's psyche, revealing the terror of his own mind. The interactions between characters also add to the horror. The tension, the fear of the unknown, and the moral dilemmas they face create an atmosphere of dread that permeates the film. And let's not forget the existential horror. The fear of nuclear annihilation is a real and present danger, and Nolan taps into this fear masterfully. The bomb testing scenes are some of the most harrowing moments in the film, capturing the sheer destructive power of the atomic bomb. Nolan himself has acknowledged the horror elements in Oppenheimer. He described the film as containing many classic horror elements, and even a filmmaker friend of his called it a horror movie after watching it. Audiences' reactions have also highlighted the film's intense and unsettling nature. Many viewers have described feeling a sense of dread and unease, much like they would after watching a horror movie. So, is Oppenheimer a horror movie? In many ways, yes. It taps into our deepest fears, presents a chilling portrayal of its protagonist's psychological torment, and leaves us with an unsettling sense of dread. Christopher Nolan has crafted a film that transcends genres, blending historical drama with the elements of a horror to create a truly terrifying experience. What do you think? Is Oppenheimer a horror movie? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like. And if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into your favorite films. Until next time, stay curious.